So, but when you're talking about all this renewable energy earlier, it still constitutes over 8% of our total power capacity. So that means thermal and hydroelectricity still becomes our large part of our stay. So to the future means then really you have to see how we are going to have these power cuts. So many of our speakers, if there is a power goes in the middle, if there is a dark room, nobody gets really perturbed about it. So they still enjoy the lecture, they will still, both the speaker as well as the audience would be very comfortable with it because this has become part of the life. So the power cuts is going to be, as we are going to the future, and the rural people are pretty aware. Now they're telling, anyway power cut is there, but tell us when you are going to supply the power. So then we will adjust our lifestyle. So if you are going to come in the morning hours, you tell us. So we will go to the fields in the morning hour, switch on our pump. Now some people are trying to develop the technology. Whenever there is power comes, they get some SMS in their mobile so that they can switch on their pumps. These kinds of different lifestyle issues are coming around, but people are getting used to in some situations, but leads to a lot of other kind of inefficiencies in the economy because of these things. And that is where you look at whether it's the thermal power or wherever you see the demand and the kind of supply side, then people are also talking about the natural gas. So how can we get the natural gas to this? I think that is where the future is going to be. I think myself and Professor Sitaram anyway is another expert in that area. So there are many issues which you are going to see. So I think the gas is going to be according to many economists and many scientists, going to be the future of India as well. So there are different ways it could definitely. So now when you see this hydro, this kind of a distribution, you will be able to see what is available where. But I want to really quick to get into some of the action areas for sure. When we see the inclusive growth, all these important things will come in. Regional disparities. So in India, there are some regions, yes, it is the energy are accessible, it is helpful, it is for both industry and for the larger society. But there are many parts, it is not available still. And then it is also important in terms of the working towards that reducing that poverty line wherever the intensive growth is possible means the energy requirement is a corollary to that. Agriculture is another important thing and also the social sector. So what is that we can do this? Reinventing the sources. So can we really rework on some of these sources and can we change energy use forever? I think that's the kind of a basic question what was addressed in so basically if you look at, there are 5 areas we need to really work on. The 5 areas according to me one is agriculture, the industry, then the automobiles, then we really have to see wherever the electricity use is coming. And so last part of my presentation, so coming to the 8 action areas. So what could be done kind of a thing. So the first one is what was presented before, build efficient buildings, right? So retrofit existing ones, particularly for the energy and energy efficiency. I think that's one of the action areas. The second part of it is, I think we need to work really hard on the transforming that the auto industry, the way we are pushing our things and the more and more of this. So really what our Professor Sitaram calls Namma cycle and such interventions, right? So people have to really change. So give more emphasis to the mobility than, put all that which you consumes, that kind of the critical resources, right? So maybe that we also bring in that, we really look at new manufacturing methods. Otherwise it consumes, right? So whether we, as I said, the price interventions are not going to help to the future. If you increase the price, you think you are going to create. It only helps that marginalized part of the society. They will not get access, but affordable part of the society will still make use of it. So there are many other policy interventions are required, but that is where the third important action area is very clearly is we need to reduce the distances traveled by the number of things, autos, the haul length, the weight, the volume. So here the word is, people say you give emphasis to the kind of word mobility, right? So and particularly we need to work on our the way we are moving trucks throughout the country. How many trucks are moving, what they're carrying, and what is that we can replace with. So can we use the rails and other alternate methods? I think these are all some of the areas for critical examination if you're thinking of building that kind of an energy gap to the future. And also sustain and accelerate energy savings. And particularly you have to look at cogeneration. Some examples were given, Anand, earlier. So in a building you try to cultivate something, or you use the water for different purposes. Anyway. And the only thing is that vessel should not smell, when they put some food and kind of a thing. That's some of the issues involved, because when they don't know what is that they are washing for, then. So many of these things should become as an important thing as we get into the future is that what is that kind of whether it is biomass, whether it is, when cogeneration is already talked about in the sugar industry. So there are many ways one need to look at what is it possible to build that kind of thing. And also the cost of renewable energy. So that means, unless we scale it up. So if you do one building, if you just green one building, not sufficient. But if an entrepreneur has to come, means he must have an opportunity to scale it up. So unless we scale the business, the cost will not come down. The people will not get into that kind of an activity. It could be one-off. So doing one-off to a scaling is an important issue. Then we are also using the word smart grid. I think really what is the smart grid, as I mentioned earlier, whether it's distributed or whether you pool all and distribute it within the different areas. And also they change the rules of electricity production. So there are many ways we should look at the generation of electricity. Instead of constraining, one need to really get into the renewable and many other methods. And still we are using an American plug. It's high time we must use an Indian plug. We have to come up with our own Indian solutions where when it comes to this energy generation and policy of bringing out. So when you see this, the future of energy, the actual areas is that one is energy data management. We have to create the devices and services, so where it will really improve the energy utilization. We have to emphasize on the energy efficiency. That itself could be the elaborated thing where people are aware, people are involved, people are committed. And also the energy generation. We should also look at the infrastructure, what could be done. And also there are methods of storage and reuse. So the technologies. And also they have the powerful interconnections of these different sources of energy. How can we bring that kind of a required economic benefits, and also the work in the area of economy, transportation, buildings and industry. I think this is what I wanted to convey at the end. These are some of the important areas for action.